and move forward. So good morning, everyone. And this is our August 16th Commission on
Give me
Women's
1 second. I'm trying to get you up right now.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the August 16th Commission on Women's monthly meeting. It is August 16th, and we will go ahead and unfortunately, there aren't any action items to vote on during this meeting. So this is going to be basically a discussion call. And just to recap some of the items that we had discussed in our July meeting, and then proceed with hoping to get our quorum together in order for us to officially accept some action items going forward. So I'd like to go ahead and officially call this meeting ahead, and just to number one topic on the agenda to discuss is the adjustments to our 2019 ordinance. We had a discussion and broke out into executive session last month to define the number that we needed to officially have so we can become more effective as a commission and have quorum to make some decisions and move ahead with as a collective. At this time, as of today, I've had an additional seat open up or a resignation sent to me, but I need to have a discussion with that commission member so we can try to keep that as much as we possibly can. Based on our 2019 ordinance, we had a commission comprising of 16 members. And in order for us to have a quorum, we needed a minimum of 9. As of March of this year, when we started the 2023 year, we have only had quorum twice. And this has led us to not being as effective to move on to do the business of our commission. And so as a collective, we decided to reduce that number to 13. And in order for us to have quorum, we would need a minimum of 7. And that's basically the update and the request for the amendment that was sent to City Council last night in yesterday's meeting. I sent that to our members earlier this morning, sorry, 20, maybe 30 minutes ago, for you guys to review that and you just kind of keep abreast as it progresses through the process. I will definitely share that information out as well. Basically, after the third reading, it actually becomes into the change, and then we can officially have a minimum quorum of 7. So I'm going to ask Councilwoman Parker if there are any additional things that we ought to know, or as a group, I'm going to give it to you. If we need to show up, support, and
No, it'll go. It will be fine. Just like last night, it passed first reading. This is nothing out of the ordinary. You know, I think even Ms. Copeland said at our last. You know, anyway, I think that 16 is a lot of members. You know, so that raises the quorum. So this no problem. So our September, we were discussing before, our September meeting. Second and third reading will be September 12th. So the ordinance will pass and be accepted then. So at our next meeting, quorum will be 7. I think you already stated that. So
excellent. No, thank you so much.
No, I don't.
Okay.
If you want to, you are more than welcome to, but we have full support.
Okay. Yes, I was there yesterday, and it's been a while since I've been into a packed house, so I was not accustomed to it, but it was a good thing to see the wheels churn and really have people, our community members, really be present and involved. And that's what we want here with the commission, because there are a lot of important things happening. And as you know, things that affect specifically women and children in our community that we want to make a difference. So thank you so much. There really isn't, and Mindy, I'm going to put you on the spot real quick to give us just an update on this Sunday's back to school event. I know your office with the mayor's office in women and children, family and children and youth is really important and vital. So just a status update, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah, happy to. It was a great day. We packed about, I think, close to 2,000 bags that we were able to hand out. And we also had excess supplies as well that we're able to pass out throughout the day. We had 3,500 people go through the aquarium for free. So
wow.
It was incredible. And that's about where we were last year. So that was great. We had 2 boat rides that went on the harbor for free. So about 400 people got to do that thanks to Spirit Line. And Low Country Food Bank gave out bags of fresh food, and our vendors were there. PCAP was there. So thank you. We had really an eclectic mix this year, which I think is great. The Tri-County Human Trafficking Task Force was there. So just NOAA was there. Some unique exhibitors that I think get information out to families that they really may not get from other sources. So yeah, so thank you for asking. It was a great day.
Absolutely. I did share among the peeps that I knew and all my groups. So that was, they were like, wow. I mean, they knew of it, but I think just a reminder is really important.
Definitely.
So thank you so much.
Sure.
Invaluable service. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And I know, Ms. Garden, you had a wonderful summer walkthrough, or it was basically a week-long event around our Charleston historic, meaningful places for our youth to learn more about a civic lesson. So do you mind if you don't mind if I call on you to give us a brief on how that went?
Yeah, it was wonderful. We had 15 students participate in our inaugural class of Charleston Civil Rights and Civics. The mayor actually joined us on Friday for graduation, but it was an incredible week. We started at the International African American Museum. We took the students down to the Penn Center in Beaufort to learn about Reconstruction and Robert Smalls. We had the opportunity to go to Orangeburg and actually meet photographer Cecil Williams. Congressman Clyburn spoke to the students. We were at South Carolina State to talk about HBCUs. We were able to tour the All-Star Bowling Lane, which was the spark of the Orangeburg Massacre. We were able to go to the Gibbs and engage in different forms of art to discuss art and culture and race and history. We heard from an Orangeburg Massacre survivor. We heard from an original hospital strike worker. We heard from Jeanette Jenkins, who is the granddaughter of Esau Jenkins. We talked a lot about the Progressive Club and John Zyland and Septima Clark. And then Friday, we were able to tour the new Board of Elections headquarters, conduct a mock election, have a legislative panel. The students did a workshop with Marcus Amaker, our poet laureate, and then the mayor came for graduation. So it was an absolutely incredible week, and we look forward to many more years of the program.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
I want to join. I want to do all those things. Yes.
Can I ask a question? I mean, that was an outstanding agenda. Is it possible that you could email out the agenda that you took those students on?
Sure. I can put our website in the chat. There's also a great feature in the Charleston City paper on the program, which I can put in the chat too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss anyone's other stuff. Jennifer, how's Palmetto Community Action Partner doing this summer and the activities going on?
We just wrapped up our summer program, and I am just so, you've been doing this for a while, and Mindy, excellent program on Sunday. We just wrapped up our Summer Youth Works, which is the employment portion of our youth leadership program, but also has a college component of it. I am happy to announce that anyone, almost all, I'm going to say like everybody, but 99% of our program participants are first generation bound college students. And I am happy to announce that one of our program participants earned a bachelor's degree from the University of South Carolina. Her
Excellent.
sister will be entering the University of South Carolina, or has entered the University of South Carolina as a freshman. And the older sister has started graduate school this week at the University of South Carolina. So that awesome. We actually sent off 7 first-generation bound college students off to college. We wrapped up our program on August 9th. And then this is a great segue, because education is the way to the American dream. It does not have to be a 4-year college education. It can be a certification program, but we have got to start drilling in our communities, in our families, in our children, that you're going to have to do something beyond high school. In Charleston County, we're very fortunate that we have 3 career centers distributed through Charleston County that high school students can get a certification or be on track for a certification. We have dual credit at Trident Tech. All of those things are important because this commission, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, Trident United Way is getting ready to start a series called Alice. And it's about the people who are working but can't attain not only the American dream, but cannot obtain basic skills for basic needs for their family. And if you're not part of Trident United Way, I strongly encourage you to be in the website. And the reason why I'm sharing that in this platform, in this recording, is because we have constantly talked about issues. A lot of our families are led by single parent households, and those single parents are female. And when you look at when you miss work because the child is sick, when you can't afford daycare, it's just a ripple effect. And I am so proud to be part of Trident United Way board this year as the chair of the African American Leadership Council. There is a poverty stimulation coming up in September. I strongly, if you have never done that activity, I encourage you to do it, because we're all passionate. We all talk about moving women forward, but some of us are in different points in our lives, and we don't know what a lot of women are facing in our community. I know if Denise was on camera, she probably would be shouting by now, because Denise is an advocate as well. But please, please look into the Alice program at Trident United Way. Please, please encourage students to not only look at finishing high school, but going to college, going to a certification program, getting an associate's degree. Your education has a direct link to how much money you will make in a lifetime. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. I couldn't have said that better.
Hey, Jennifer, I just want to ask a question. Is Trident offering, isn't it free to attend Trident right now? I know a number of community colleges are free.
Certain programs are free. I know for a fact medical coding right now is free, but you have to reach out to, it used to be called continuing education, but I think it's called workforce development now. But you have to reach out to Trident Tech and you have to apply. And this is also a factor. Trident, I'm going to tell it, and it can be recorded. Your track record with Trident Tech will have a major impact on if you get free tuition. Those are the students that have enrolled at Trident Tech, gotten FAFSA, gotten a refund check, and never finished a class due to drop out. If you have a history of that, you're not getting free tuition. And it also depends on what program you're interested in. So adults have to contact Trident Tech directly, but if you are on the right track, on the high school track, so when you do your IGP meeting with your high school students, so when you put this out in your community binder, ask about the dual credit. That is free to high school students. Mm-hmm. Now, if you fail the class, you have to pay out of pocket for the second time around. But if you are a new enrollee, if you're in 10th grade, 11th grade, you can get classes at Trident Tech free if you are a current high school student.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
wow.
it is.
Okay. So with that, there really aren't much of an additional or extended open discussion, and there aren't any actions to take. But one of the things that I had wanted to place on our agenda this month to talk through and to share that information is about the Tri-County Human Trafficking Task Force. And if you don't mind, Councilwoman Parker, I'm just going to put you in there. Did you want to give a brief on how they came to contact you? And
so actually, I met this woman at a River Dogs game.
Yeah.
Again, I normally take those things, you know, she was wearing the shirt and I was just curious if she worked for them or not. As we know, I think Deputy Chief Thompson very early on, you know, at some point last year gave an overview, and I'm the first one to admit it was shocking to me to know that that's going on here in the Low Country. You know, I talk about a lot of things, you know, in this commission, there's not a lot that we can do, right, legislative wise. You know, I mean, on a municipality level, yes, but obviously the state legislature makes the laws, things like that. But there are things that we can do for women here in this area, you know, that have to do with human trafficking. So anyway, when I saw her shirt, you know, I approached her, and I just think it's a really great organization, and I would love for them to present to this group. I certainly, like I always say, the more heads in the room, the better. So hopefully maybe they can have some action items for us and that we can really you know, begin some work on, you know, whether it's contacting our representatives, you know, similar to what we did with FMLA, you know, I think we really have to start taking action steps towards things like that. Obviously, supporting Miss Smalls. I know I haven't seen Miss Smalls on for a while, but I would love for her to be a part of that presentation as well. Only because I think with victim services and things like that, I think just working closely with CPD, having Deputy Chief Thompson on again and just talk to us about human trafficking in the area, they can, you know, the organization can certainly give us some guiding points, and then we can come up with ways to support CPD and the women in our community. Because I mean, it's going on, you know, right here. It's not a, you know, somewhere else, somebody else's problem. I mean, it's happening here. So
100%. Thank you. Yes. When I was in Texas, I helped coordinate and help with the state law back in 2015, 2016 in the state of Texas with human trafficking, because it was huge. A lot of the churches in Texas go through training, as well as one of the areas of support and identification. So thank you so much. That really falls in parallel with a lot of symptoms, issues, and it's kind of like one of those symptoms that we can slowly be effective in eradicating, and that will trickle around to the key points of homelessness and getting financial education, so if people can sufficiently and effectively support themselves, and identifying domestic violence that kind of end up in the circle as well. So thank you so much. Nicole Hoffman and several of the other Tri-County Human Trafficking Task Force members, Brooke Burris, Lauren Knapp, and Catherine Ramey, they're actually are getting an award, and they're accepting an award today. So that's why they weren't able to come. And I had to do a last minute addition, change to the agenda. So I apologize for that, but they are committed to helping us get more educated. So I really would love to poll. I want to take their training to see how we can kind of spread that across different enterprises and areas of the community. And I know that just the small things, for example, the stickers that you see in rest areas or bathrooms in Pilot, and the gas stations at South Carolina DOT that puts up in the restroom area that actually gives a hotline number for people who are being trafficked or feel like they're being trafficked can call anonymously. And that's a little thing, but it's really effective. So one of the things, and we don't have quorum, so I will email everyone to figure out how you guys would like to, if anyone is interested in being trained, and how we can tailor that training. I will send that out by email and see who's interested in doing that. But I will have them on the agenda for the September 20th meeting to talk about the task force, what they do, you know, the type of training that they can extend to the community, and most importantly, how we can help support them. And like I said, it's one of many spokes in the cogwheel that affects everything else in our community. And the main points that why we're here is to highlight them and to try to push some change towards that. So
Tricia, can I make a couple of comments?
You were going to be the next person, so go ahead.
I'm going to start with human trafficking, and then I'm going to go back. I recently was at the airport, so this is August. It would have been in July, and I got there a little early, and I was sitting, and I saw a girl with beautiful pair of shoes on and her dress, and she was so excited, and she was with a man, and the man was not engaged with her at all. And I got a little suspicious. My gut kept telling me something is not right here. Something is not right. And now this is at the airport, okay? And this is midday. This was not a weird time. And I was going to go up to the man, but he was a rather large man. So I said, maybe I should just go up to a security guard. So I did. And the TSA guard was very, very nice. But he said there's nothing that they could do. So he took me to a police officer. And I'm going to be honest with you, the police officer, who was also a very nice middle-aged man, totally clueless. And I said, you know, a young woman and an older man just walked through the airport. I think there's something wrong with that situation. No protocol, didn't know what to do, didn't ask me for my name and number. So the next time I ever encounter something like this, I'm going to take a picture. Okay. Because I was going to take a picture. Then I said, maybe I shouldn't, but I should have taken the picture. So there's a book that I thought I sent Tricia, but maybe I didn't, but it's Sex Trafficking. It's a new book, and the author's last name is Kara, Kara. It's much more prevalent. It's prevalent everywhere. And the thing that I think we keep missing is that these men target, first of all, they target girls that are smaller. If you study some of these sexual crimes and all this stuff, they're targeting girls that are like the size of 10-year-olds. Okay. Yeah. And this girl fit this description perfectly. You could tell she was being treated. She was so excited. And this man was so aloof. You could tell it wasn't a dad. It wasn't an uncle. I couldn't tell who the hell it was. So we already know we've had problems in North Charleston at some of the hotels where, I mean, people are telling me there's sexual trafficking, but there were no police. Okay. And again, you know, it's the targets are typically what they say in New York City is at a Grand Central Station or Madison Square Garden. They look for girls that are about 14 years of age that are looking down at their feet, girls that have no self-esteem, and that so they look down. And we have the same things happening here. Now, we had a young woman sex trafficked right out of the School of Business, and I would love to have her come and speak to you guys. She's a nurse today, but when you hear her story, beautiful blonde, you know, when you hear what happened to her, again, a man in a fancy car picked her up on Liberty Street and wined her and dined her for a year, and then he put her to work on the street. So this is a much, first of all, I think we need to talk to the airport. I think we need to actually have them explain to us, what are they looking for? Are they even looking? I got the feeling they weren't even paying attention. I think we need the police on a regular basis. I would like to hear from the school system. I don't know, is the school system paying attention to this? Because I know, I mean, I've run into a lot of young men in my life that were homeless, and they were picked off the street by drug dealers. The dealer said, if you come and live with me and you're the mule, I'll give you a place, I'll give you food, and I'll give you clothes. So that's one way homeless boys get off the street. But girls are wined and dined out of bad homes, and then they're put to work. So, and then, so I'm just, okay. So that's the one thing. I think we should all read that book. And I think we got to get a little bit more proactive. I used to live next to a woman that was a pole dancer for many years in Charleston. I think I want the last time the police came in, I asked for a list of all of the strip clubs and what were their surveillances. They had no protocol, no surveillance on strip clubs. And no offense, many fathers get paid if they take their daughters to strip clubs. Okay. I mean, you gotta follow the money. So we have a lot of strip clubs. The other thing I think, and I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I'm starting to study the county's laws on exposing breast. I mean, I don't understand today why we have to have situations where, if you talk to girls that have gone that route, and again, nobody chooses to go that route, but their dad took them there when they were 14. They're pried with alcohol and drugs. Yeah, they're given clothes, they're given foods, but they're basically prisoners. They can't leave. Okay. I mean, I just think we have to be a little bit more proactive because it's no offense. It's like Long Island, the Gilco Beach. What, 11 people were killed over 10 years and the police really didn't get involved. Okay. And I think when it comes to women disappearing, women dying,
that's right.
No offense, the police don't care. And I think unless we educate, and again, I actually have adult men that will say to me, well, those girls chose that profession. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They really don't. So again, I think we have to bring in the police. I think we have to bring the sheriff's department. I would like to talk to, in Texas, they work with the truckers associations. And I think we also have to bring in the airport people and importantly, the dock. What's going on with the port? We know occasionally we get dead women showing up in shipping containers and they were being trafficked. So I think we need to pull together that coordination. We need to keep the data because they don't.
Exactly. And and great points. And I'm sorry, I know you had another point. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, Denise. Go ahead.
Well, that was human sexual trafficking. Then I had a meeting last week. I'm trying to work on affordable housing, but I'm going to tell you, nobody wants it. It's extremely frustrating. I'm dealing with the richest people in our state. They don't want it. Dealing with developers, they can't make enough money. And I was in a meeting and I made a comment that we've got 2,000 women right now in the Low Country with children that have housing insecurity. And in the meeting, I was corrected. They said, no, Denise, the accurate number right now in the Low Country, we have 4,000 women with children that are housing insecure. So these women are sleeping in tents. They're sleeping in garages, sheds, trucks, maybe a relative's couch. But, when you look at a community that's only 100, I mean, our 3 counties don't even add up to, we're only adding up to 800,000 people. They have 4,000 women in this situation is absolutely tragic. So I'm just going to ask all of you, if you know of a building, a house sitting empty, please let me know. Just text me an address. If you know of anybody that has any interest in working on these developments, I have 5 years of developments and I can't raise $1. And even when I can, the return, they're looking for 15 to 35% returns. So I'm trying to negotiate with these rich guys and say, listen, can I get you closer down to 15%? And can I pay you off in 5 years? But it's next to impossible. If you look at just Charleston, the county and North Charleston, they have 20,000 housing vouchers out. Now that's not all the vouchers they need. That's just what they've distributed. There's not 20,000 housing units anywhere. And
correct.
So, you can't, you can't, we can't help women. Now, if you look at single parents, I think 93% of single parents are moms and 7% are men. And I'm trying to help those 7% too. But we cannot help anybody. Okay. We can't help a soul unless we have housing. And housing would be one. And then I can talk to you all about a daycare model we're working on, but it's very, I'm just going to say it's very depressing. I've been working on this housing since 2016. And again, the people with the money don't want to do anything, and the governments really don't want to do anything. And it's one thing to say, well, we want working moms. Well, working moms is good, but you can't just have, you have to have community around families. You just have to have community, whether it's a single family, single head household or joint. You have to have community built around the family unit, and we don't. So the other thing that this is transforming to, and there's a young woman, Ebba, as her last name. She writes for the Washington Post, and there's 2 other books. Men, what's happening with young boys is happening very rapidly, and it started in 1965, so it's not current. But boys going to college is dropping very quickly. Male suicide is increasing very quickly. So the reality is, I love the fact that women step up and raise these children, but God, we've got to get, we have to get, unfortunately, men are like dogs. They want to be around other boy dogs. And, you know, these women, some of them are working 2 jobs. They might have 3 or 4 kids. They're making minimum wage. I mean, it's a blessing that we even are able to repopulate, but there's a bunch of bad things. And I don't really know how we can help fix it without housing, safe, stable, and secure housing. And then after we work on that, we can work on the other smaller issues. But and there's plenty of land in the low country, plenty. So I rest my case, but it is very depressing.
Well, we are happy to have you. And there are plenty of outreach opportunities that every single one of us that are part of this commission have access to, and which is why I'm really pushing to get some quorum, because we are definitely facing and we are living in really interesting times, and it really just takes a few young, wonderful women, a group of just a few handful of people to make a tremendous difference. And we have the handful of people that show up every month. And so we're moving that line so we can actually become more effective. So with that saying, thank you, Denise. If you send me the title of that book, no, maybe you mentioned the sex trafficking one, but I don't remember the author on that, but I will share it out like we did the Seneca Falls information. Any other things that are upcoming, please let me know. I know Lydia did, and also Mindy, the Latin Community Exchange Club back to school is on the 26th. So any of your friends, family members in that are in part of that community, please let them know as well. That's going to be in Ladson at the Exchange Club. But just to circle and close out, there are no actions, so I can't even say anything remotely authoritative at all in this commission. But yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councilwoman Parker.
Just quickly, I just wanted to follow up. Did we ever receive any of the bylaws? I think some previous members said that they had worked on some bylaws. Did we ever track those down from maybe Ms. Altman?
There are no bylaws in the commission. It was just the ordinance.
Right, but I think maybe Jennifer.
It was Monique.
Monique, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Said that there were possibly, did we ask Ms. Altman?
Yep, I did. And she's like, no, the only thing that they had was the original ordinance, which is what I attached to what Ms. Copeland updated. Okay. So there weren't bylaws.
Right, I know. I mean, I don't need to make a motion for, we don't.
Oh, that's okay.
But yeah. I do think that would be an agenda item just so we can adopt some of those bylaws. That's what our ordinance is changing that fact now, that we can adopt those bylaws so we can discuss some of those other items, subcommittees, attendance, things like that. So I do think that should be
I sent the original, which is what Ms. Copeland updated. That's the original. And I sent the 2019 ordinance, which was what that cemented the Commission on Women. Those were all of the artifacts that Ms. Altman had. Was that?
Right. I'm saying, so if we, because like Monique was saying, I mean, now we're going to have to start from scratch on the bylaws, you know, adopting bylaws or having.
There are no bylaws on this commission. So the term bylaws doesn't exist for the Commission on Women. The only is the ordinance. So I sent that like maybe an hour ago. I sent the original.
I know. I
oh,
know.
Sorry. Okay. Maybe I'm not hearing. Sorry.
I guess so. Okay, I'll double check with Julia, but I know that we discussed previously, like, I mean, you do recall.
Yes, correct.
Okay, between, you know, that Monique and the old chair, they did discuss, that's where everyone understood the attendance rules. That's where they were taking the attendance rules from, but we don't have anything recorded or anything. So we were trying to track that down, you know, what this group, the previous group organized and wanted
correct.
to.
Yes, I will share that out in email as well. The discussion was around the number of attendances and what would be excused or unexcused. So that was the three, I put that in air quotes, 3 incidences that will actually be meaningful or equate to what is excused or unexcused. But that was just a discussion, but it would never made the original ordinance.
Right.
I think it sounds like what Carolyn Carolyn,
right.
I think what you're asking for is you'd like to see the committee have bylaws and maybe we could put bylaws together. Is that what you're asking?
Correct. That's what we talked about before. Is that something that's something that this group wants to do, then it should be a future agenda item. If we have.
Yes, I agree.
I don't want to start from scratch either. And I was hoping, like Monique said, that we could track those down if they already existed, but it looks like that we will be starting.
Yeah, and I don't really think we need bylaws for the commission. I think we just need it to be the ordinance clearly defined, because I think if we get into bylaws and it gets into the whole, just my personal opinion, not a chair opinion, that whole intricacies of, okay, are we even going to be meeting bylaws? I think some probably the wording to having the working group and define a working group to be those areas and organizations that directly influence and have a direct impact on women and family issues in our community. But I think bylaws are just, I think it's overly just too cumbersome for a commission, unless we're going to actually change what the meaning of this commission is to do and have us be a little bit more effective, as opposed to creating a proposal and sending it on to powers that be, that we actually become more of a commission that actually can take action. So that would be my opinion to share, because everyone, we're really trying to make a difference. And if our commission currently, as it dictates that we just make proposals, I think that really doesn't move the needle as much. But I open to that, and we'll share. I will create an email and loop both the previous chair in with Ms. Copeland to clarify. Maybe it's somewhere in Etherland and we just never got it.
I don't think we need to loop. I mean, this group just needs to make that decision. That, you know, the Women's Commission needs to make that decision.
Sure, and there are only 5 of us on this call.
How we would like to move forward on that. So I was just saying that could be a potential future agenda item if that's something we wanted to discuss, because I do think that the more organized that this commission is, the more we will produce.
I totally agree. Yep. I can put that in there. Hopefully we have, hopefully September 20th comes quickly. That's all, but thank you. Yes. All right. So just closing out the meeting, anything else for the greater good?
I would
Anyone
just
that
like
haven't
to share
spoken?
that as the school season starts, the Charleston County School District has 250 homeless families right now. I've been working with them over the summer. If any of you know of where a house is sitting abandoned, maybe grandma died and your family's not putting the house to use. If you know anybody, I'm dealing with a family right now. Mom and her son are living in the car. Between the two of them, they work 3 jobs and they can't afford to live in Charleston. It's again, this is another one of these urgent, tragic situations. We have a mother with a 4-month-old and 2 other children. She's homeless. I can't. So if you know of anything, again, I really think this is going to have to be done by active women. But if you know of anything where we could help these people out, and the Charleston County School District has an excellent group of women. I'm trying to work with them a little bit more closely because they do have resources, and we're having the same problem throughout the country, not just in the Charleston County School District. Mount Pleasant's having turnover with their teachers because they can't afford to live in Mount Pleasant. I was told this week on Monday at a meeting that Mount Pleasant's average home value now is up to $900,000. And that's for brick ranch split levels. It's tragic. So, so the housing crisis, again, I don't mean to, it's getting worse by the minute. And yesterday, the government reported that homelessness across the country was up 11%. So it's a growth industry. And anybody, again, if you know anybody that's got an empty anything, please text me. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, thank you. With that closing, it's 10:50, 50 minutes in. Last call, ladies. Anything else for the greater good? Okay. Check your inboxes, please, and I will definitely share out more information, and especially the books. Thank you so much, Denise, as always, with that, and upcoming events for us to be in the community facing forward and maybe recruit some wonderful women. That'll be great. So with that saying, I look forward to our next monthly meeting on September 20th at 10 a.m. by Zoom, and hopefully we'll have a forum then. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.